So, welcome to another episode of the 613BeerCast. My name is Katie Watts. I'm with
Chuck Tiber again.
And we have a guest in the studio, another one.
Yay.
Hi, I'm Taralyn. Do I introduce myself?
Yes. I kind of didn't tell you to do that, so. There's no instructions here on 613BeerCast. We just kind of do what we want, and we confuse our guests.
Yeah, we usually find if we throw them off a little bit, then they'll just start talking a little bit easier. And
Exactly.
Realize that it's not all that formal. We just have a fun chat.
Well, I think we need the beer lubrication to really make the flow.
There we go.
work.
Now, here's the thing. So I've been rolling this bottle for like a minute. Do you think it will spill on me and all the audio equipment when I open it?
Well, if you turn the other way a little bit.
So you're saying it's going to spill on my rental carpet?
Yes.
Like all the other beer has?
I would think that that's less impactful price-wise.
It is. I don't care about it.
That's right.
It's a rental.
That's right.
There has to be some benefits to renting.
Exactly. I don't care. There's a deposit. I'm sure I'll get back.
Yeah, sure.
I paid it like 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Hey,
There you
nothing
go.
happened there. That's exciting. So I guess we should tell everyone what we're talking about today is not my rental carpet.
No. That's as interesting a conversation
It
as
is.
that might be.
It's a very good carpet. It's about beige. It had spotted from other beer accidents. I don't recommend that if you come here, don't look directly at the carpet because you might get like hypnotized by it. Or you might just think I keep a bad house, which my mom will be very upset about. So all her dreams ruined.
I must now look at your carpet. Stares down.
Uh-oh, now we might have to go to IKEA and get emergency carpet.
Yeah.
That's not bad.
So we're gonna be talking about the Brewery Market.
Yeah.
A series of events in Ottawa and Toronto, I suppose, but we don't really care about them because they're far away.
Well, that's where it started, but I think that's the only place we want to talk about it a bit, and then
Yeah.
we'll move on and talk about what everybody cares about, which is
Oh,
the
Ottawa.
Brewery
right.
Market here.
Yeah.
This is way better. But we're drinking a mishmash of beers from my beer fridge that I need to drink now. And so this one is from Blood Brothers. It's the delicious Paradise Lost, which
yeah.
I love so much. And so, Taralyn, as you may get from the podcast, we kind of just pass around the beers. You can take as much as you want, take as little as you want. We kind of drink fast. You don't have to, or you can. It's
right.
more fun that way.
I'll try to keep up. I'll pour it into my sober glass.
There you go. I love these new cups. Okay, I'm going to jump topics.
I know,
so
don't
hold
do
on.
that. Okay, no,
yeah.
hold on. We have a schedule of things to talk about.
That's right.
I have
schedule.
a list.
All right.
Perfect.
Stick to the list.
Okay, so who are you? And why are you running brewery markets in Ottawa?
Good question. My name is Taralyn, and I'm an alcoholic. So to support to this,
That's about right. Yeah, that's a good start.
heavy addiction. Yeah, my name is Taralyn. I run the Brewery Market event series in town. And I do it because I do love beer, really. Straightforward.
Cool.
And where did you get that love of beer?
Do you want the short answer or the long answer?
I think we want the interesting answer.
Yeah, it kind of ties back into Toronto.
Yes.
To the day I met Mr. Cass Enright, Bar Towel, who runs the Brewery Market series in Toronto, better known as the Brewer's Backyard.
Yes.
So we both work in marketing, and that's where we met. And upon meeting him, he eventually drags you to a bar where he makes you drink all of the amazing beers that exist in the city.
Okay, that sounds pretty good.
Yeah, and then you fall in love with it, and you want more of it. And somewhere within this friendship with Cass, I actually met a very handsome man from Ottawa who I moved here for. And on my way, I was like, I'm taking this event with me. This is happening. Ottawa needed more events.
We really did. I would say that I remember reading about the brewery markets when they first started in Toronto, and I was quite
jealous.
Exactly, very
Yes.
jealous. That I watched seeing these events going. We need something like this here in Ottawa. And when it was announced, the first one that was announced here, I couldn't get there fast enough.
Were you at the first one?
I was at the first one.
Wow, that's amazing.
And I feel like that's a thing with Ottawa. We often feel jealous for things that happen in Toronto. We're kind of like the kid sister or kid brother of Toronto. We're just kind of like, why do you get everything?
They do get
You
everything.
need to share your toys.
Yes. Well,
And
this one they did.
Yes, they did, and we're very lucky. And I do remember that first one that you had.
Yeah.
And I don't. It was at the. Was it okay? Now I have to. It's hard because it was almost 5 years ago.
It was 6 years ago.
6
It was
years ago.
2012.
Oh my God.
Yeah. It was in the parking lot
Yep.
right across the street from, well, right near where Tooth and Nail now is.
Yep.
Yeah.
It was where the Eddy now is. There's a condo building there.
Right.
And it kind of came about, again, having a marketing background, and at the time working for an ad agency. One of our clients was Windmill Developments, who owned that property and wanted to get involved in the neighborhood and like what events are happening. And I was like, I've got an idea for an event. You've got a parking lot. Great. Let's see how this goes.
Parking lots are amazing for events.
Turns out
it was packed.
It was packed.
It was-
It was crazy.
Yeah, I got there early. I remember I was like, because with beer events, if you're a beer nerd like we are,
Yes.
you know that you go early to things.
Because you can get through with their most of the stuff without the
Exactly.
lines. And you'll
Early.
run into people like
us, and then you, like, your beer nerdom strengthens.
Mm-hmm.
Side note, I was at a barbecue thing in New York City maybe about 2 weeks ago. My boyfriend did not go early, and we were stuck in lines, and I was mad at him for a solid hour going, this is why you go early.
Yeah.
This is what beer has taught me. You go early to events, and you did not go early. You ruined this event for me. I'm going to stamp my foot. Beer nerd stamp. But anyway, and I remember being there a bit late because I really enjoyed the event, and I think Union 613 was there, and they had their fried chicken or something like that, and I was like,
great memory.
and this is because I remember the chicken.
Yeah.
I think I have a photo of it somewhere that shows up on my TV occasionally when I have it go through the Chromecast picture thing. I was like, oh, that was great chicken. And I remember staying a bit later and it being a sea of people. And I was like, okay, now it's time to go. Chicken was consumed. Gotta leave now.
We had to bail out a little bit earlier because it was sort of advertised as a more family-friendly event, which I do like how it sort of even turned into that more so as it got as it sort of grew up here in Ottawa. But I had brought my kids, and it was a little bit chilly that day. They ended up going across the street with April to the cafe across the street, while I kind of wrapped up my beer experiments. And then I had to leave to go over there and meet them up there. But that was nice too because I forget the cafe, but it was also a licensed cafe. So we had some coffee and another beer, and then we went home.
I love that you guys are both there. That feels like forever ago.
But then you had, after that, there was other events that had, like, I remember there was a one where Ottawa breweries teamed up with Toronto breweries and did the...
Yeah, the collab.
Yes,
Yeah.
that was
At
super
Parkdale
fun.
Park.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that one. And I think that one was rainy, I think.
It's the rainy days kind of have blurred into one.
Yes, and I think you're actually now known for the rainy days.
Yes.
Yes.
Let's
You're kind of
not
like
talk
a...
about that. Let's talk about the sunny days.
Yeah.
Oh, it's Taralyn. She brings the rain.
Yes.
Yeah. And so, but I remember that one because I think I met a lot of beer friends I now currently hang out with at that one because we shared umbrellas.
Oh yes, that makes sense.
Yes. And so beer events are great if you're the person with an umbrella because you make instant friends.
Yes.
And they usually repay you with a sip of beer, which is excellent.
Like good friends do.
Yeah.
Yes.
And with we beer people are kind of gross. We're just kind of drink out of every glass we see. Oh, this is beer. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah.
Well, that's kind of, I mean, that has been by design for a long time. For a long time we didn't. This year I was talking to Katie earlier, we've caved and we now offer a smaller 5-ounce size if you'd like. But for a long time it was, you could only get the 12-ounce pour for that very reason. Like, enjoy a full glass of beer with your friends. Trade sips. Talk about what you're drinking. What am I drinking?
And I loved how you guys had the iconic Brewery Market mug was that mason jar.
Yeah.
With the handle on it, which I actually started using for my coffee mug because I was like, yes, I do need that much coffee in the morning. Yes, this is it. Yeah, and that one, and I also bought I think you guys offered a stainless steel one as well,
Yes.
which I also have, which is not on display because that's another issue entirely. But yeah, I guess you guys have always done something fun with your cups.
Yeah, we try. We had to move away from the glass because of the kids in the park kind of
I
thing,
guess so.
which brought the stainless steel. And then this year we just decided to go kind of what was affordable.
Well, yeah, but I really like the new look. It's the straight pour gives you a little more ease of pouring. And one thing I've noticed about the mason jars is they tend to kind of spin on each other on itself when you're pouring it at the bottom, which makes it a little harder to pour without.
Wow, you're being
a big
technical
head.
with your glassware.
We
A
should
little
consult you before making our decisions. The stainless steel was a problem with some of the brewers because they couldn't see what they were pouring, so they were like, okay.
For
Yeah.
me, it got too cold in my hand.
It got too cold. There was anyways, there will always be
But-
comments. Let's not call them complaints, but
Well, I mean, that's the thing is if some somebody is angry at something, you know they care enough about it, so you know that you've actually engaged them in some way.
What a great way to look at it.
I have to. I'm a software developer.
Don't let out your secret identity to the podcast, people. They'll know who you are. We don't want that. But for those, I realize that we've just gone on a huge tangent about what's awesome about the Brewery Market, but what can you describe what the Brewery Market is to those who may not have been afraid to go to the Brewery Market? Like what the vibe is, like what someone going there might be.
Don't be afraid. We are a craft beer festival that takes place in an outdoor and relaxed setting. We're family friendly. We're free admission. Going back to the family friendly, which I just mentioned, we're very family friendly. So we're usually at Hintonburg Park, which is a huge oasis with a giant playground and splash pad. So there are lots of families who come out, and I think very much appreciate being able to toss their kid in the splash pad and grab a pint.
It really helps the boredom factor for the kids, right? You can. I mean, we've had practice bringing our kids out to events, but even our kids who've been out to many events do have a tolerance at a couple of hours before they need to do something.
Yeah.
You can send them off and, yeah, sure, go ahead, splash around the splash pad. Your clothes will dry up later. We don't really care.
Yeah, and it brings a really cool vibe to the whole event, just having a lot of families and in the park. Ottawa doesn't have much of a park scene, so that's kind of one of my favorite things about it. Is it kind of brings that vibe out.
And there's also I know you guys teamed up with Ottawa River Keepers. There's also a charitable aspect as well.
Yeah, right now we're working with Parkdale Food Center, so we try to do things like if you bring a can of beans or food item for them, we'll give you a free cup. That was kind of a promo we're doing this year.
Nice.
And they usually come out and sell pretzels and yeah.
That's pretty cool.
We try to raise some dough for them too. We can.
And so now we've moved on. Again, we drink fast. You don't have to drink as fast as we do. We're professionals.
I said I'd keep up. I Ubered here for a reason, all right?
There you go, perfect.
Oh, I didn't realize you Ubered.
Uh-oh.
This is different. So now we're drinking a can from Bicycle Brewery. They're on the lamb. It's a New England-ish IPA. This one's a bit old, so for those beer nerds out there, New England IPAs don't have the best stability, so this one may have fallen out a little bit. Maybe I should have rolled this can too, perhaps. But
I think it's darkened up a little bit. It was funny because I was just there this morning on the Brew Donkey tour. Thanks, Pat. And it was a little lighter.
This also may be a different batch.
It could be. Because the one we had was brewed fresh the last night, I believe.
Yeah, this was not brewed fresh last night. No.
What do you think of their new logo?
I like it. I think it's very nice. Yeah. I will always have a soft spot for the old logo, but this one I think they're firming it up a little bit, and I think it's going to be good for them. I like all the new, I think the Ontario Beverage Network put out a little blurb about breweries rebranding, and they listed a few different ones today, and I was like, hey, you forgot Dominion City and Bicycle. And it's interesting to see all the rebrands. It definitely is like a 2017 thing.
Yes.
To see rebranding in breweries. Rebranding and expansion tends to be the 2017 trends.
They're starting to see that marketing plays a part in actually selling the beer, and then once you start selling it, you kind of need the space.
Yes.
But
look at you being so insightful.
Well, no. just being obvious.
Are you just reiterating what I said?
Maybe. That could have happened, yes.
Okay. When it comes to the breweries who go to the Brewery Market, how do you pick which come? Because it's not like for example, we just had the Ottawa Beer Fest, where it's, everyone come. It's definitely curated kind of a little bit. So how do you get which breweries come to each one? Is there a rhyme or reason, or is it just like, you're here, you're there?
Yeah, I wish there was a rhyme or reason. No, I'm kidding. Because we're an event series, we do have the benefit, instead of we're one event, let's bring them all out. So we can kind of, get different breweries out at different events. It's getting more challenging because there's more breweries opening.
That's true. So do you actually have breweries who are like, hey, I haven't been there, pick me?
we have people knocking on our doors who want to come, which is amazing, and we absolutely want to host everybody that we possibly can. I have my personal favorites, just from an events angle.
We have to give her a few beers. We'll find those out.
Yeah. Exclusive scoop.
After dark.
Yeah. I think, we'll save that for the Facebook board. We definitely, I mean, again, in years, it's getting harder just with all these new ones opening, and in years past, it's been, everybody just signs up, pick your date, and we'll sign you up, and everybody gets to come out. It's getting harder, so I've tried to be a little more selective to per date and per event, and I haven't picked the breweries who will participate for September or October events. So I don't know how that'll shake out.
Because that's one of the things that I did like about it was there weren't as many breweries. So when you go to the big Ottawa Beer Fest that we just had a couple weekends ago, everybody's there. You have, 40, 50 different breweries, hundreds of different beer to try. It's a little intimidating when you go to the Brewery Market. You half dozen. You can have that 12-ounce pour and know that you're at least going to get a couple of ones that you haven't seen before, or if not, you're at least with some of your favorites, and you can sit and enjoy it, rather than having to sort of rush through and try and get everything.
Yeah, and I guess part of the experience we tried to create is having either a brewer there serving or a brewery rep, and by having less breweries participating, having more focus and showcasing each unique brewery. Brewery is the most awkward word, and I wish I didn't have to say it so often.
Beer producing place.
These people who make the beer that we drink. Anyways, it does give you more time to hopefully interact with the person who's serving you the beer, who's probably the person who knows the most about the beer they're serving.
Right.
So if you're into that, as some of us beer geeks are, it takes, you could maybe walk through their lineup a little more. Or get to know who's serving your beer and have a chat with them.
I will say, so I have poured in both venues. I've poured at one of the big Ottawa beer festivals. I've also poured at one of the brewery markets. And the brewery market had that more expectation that the lineups weren't there, 6, 7 people deep, because people sort of knew that I could go and get it quickly, and then, or I could go and hang out and talk to the rep or the brewer or whoever was there a little bit. So people didn't line up. If you got kind of tired of it, there was always another place you could go, and then you could come back later and we'd still be there serving beer. So
I've served beer at one of our events and started getting questions about the yeast that was being used, and I was like, I'm out of here. I can't do this. Just covering somebody on like a washer
There's
break.
like a skill testing question to serving beer. You need to pass that to get there. So coming up for Canada Day, I know you have like a big event. Everyone has a big event for Canada Day. It's a big day for Ottawa. You guys are having an event.
We are.
Which is pretty exciting.
It is exciting.
What's happening? Beer's here.
You know what? It's gonna just be a straight up brewery market. We're typically no frills. Occasionally, an interesting idea will spark, and we'll present it. Like the collabs, or like our last event, a jazz band wanted to come play, and that was very special.
That's pretty fun.
We will have yoga on tap. Will be coming out to kind of kick off the day. Which will be fun, I think, in the park, because as you know, like the middle is just a big field, so throw a bunch of yogis in there drinking at 11 a.m. just to kick things off. But other than that, I mean, we have 9 breweries, which is pushing like the most we'll do, and it's just going to be beer in a park as usual.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
It's going to be great, because I know for a lot of people, Canada Day is a big day, and they don't want to do any of the stuff that's scary, like downtown. I don't mean scary, I just mean intimidating perhaps.
It is scary. I don't want to go downtown.
It's a lot of stuff happening. It's a lot of crowd. It's a lot of people. It's a lot of, strange word for Ottawa, tourists there. People who just, it's not an Ottawa feel.
Yeah.
Ottawa's usually very relaxed and kind of laid back, so it's not Ottawa. I
think that's the void we're trying to fill. And I'm actually underselling it, because a lot of the businesses in Hintonburg, so the Hintonburg Public House and the Ministry of Coffee, 1014, a bunch of these businesses are doing a craft crawl where they will also offer a craft beer special. So if you come to the neighborhood, come out, have a drink with us. If it's raining or sunny, who knows? Like maybe you want some shelter. Tooth and Nail will be participating. Like check out any of these amazing spots in the area.
So basically, take an Uber into Hintonburg that day.
Yeah, and don't leave.
Walk. It's not that far.
Take OC Transpo. Bike. Yes. So many responsible ways you can get around this city.
And then just basically hang out all day. Hang out at the what I also
hang out in the neighborhood.
With the ideas that you guys don't charge admission. If I were hanging out there for a little bit and I decided I wanted to go maybe grab some dinner at the Hintonburg Public House or lunch at the Hintonburg Public House, and then I could come back. I know you guys also offer food.
We do. But mix
it
up.
You have the whole day to kind of wander around the entire neighborhood.
It's a very fun neighborhood.
Yeah.
I encourage you to explore it.
Well, now that we have that there, we've told people where to go for Canada Day. Now we can talk dirty stuff. So tell me, what's the biggest pet peeve about running a festival?
Oh, God, really?
What do you hate?
Well, we run an outdoor festival, as you know, so the weather is Mother Nature.
I think last year was probably your worst time.
It was unfortunate, and it was a challenge coming into this year, and it was palpable, the spirits, how low they were, and trying to like get them back up with our whole crew. But so yeah, it's unpredictable, and it really can like make or break the day.
Yeah.
That's not that juicy, is it?
No, it's kind of boring. A bit more gossipy that I can kind of dig in my teeth into.
Well, I have one now. This one I'll ask it, and we can edit it out if you want. But
I like that.
It's one that I've always, because a lot of people when I'm serving, they've always asked me like what's with these tokens. What I've heard is there's an AGCO rule about not being able to exchange cash at these types of festivals.
Interesting. So people don't like the wooden tokens we have, like
They would rather buy it with cash. They would
from the brewer directly.
From the brewer directly, rather than have like, why do I have to go and buy these tokens and then have these paper things that are not worth anything if I don't spend them all while I'm there?
So we've changed it a little bit because we do have wooden tokens, and they're basically our own currency. So you could come back to another event and spend them again. They're good at any of our events.
That's really cool.
Yeah, it is. And even I was talking to Katie earlier. We're helping this Muskoka Boathouse event this weekend.
Nice.
We'll be using Brewery Market tokens there.
Oh, okay,
so even if you can't use them all, so there is a bit of currency there.
It's beer currency.
Yeah.
It's a fantastic.
Beer coins.
That's beer coins. Oh, now we're on to something.
I know. If we can just create a virtual wallet now, we'll be set.
Other than that, it's a boring logistical thing, right? Like we buy the beer, so we need to.
Okay, so you do buy the beer.
So we take the money.
So there are some actual legal rules around it, and that's kind of what I was wondering, because
I'm not sure what the legalities of that would be, but again, the way that we run our festival, so the brewers don't pay to be there, which I think is really, really simple for them. So we buy their beer and we make all the expenses. So just from a financial end, we take the coin.
That sounds like a very simple way to participate from breweries. Yeah. I like it.
Yeah, I think most breweries like it too.
Yeah, it sounds like the Brewery Market is very much like as you said, very easy. Is come, you do your thing, you go. Both for the brewery and for the attendant, right? The participant who's going to go grab some beer.
Yeah.
And I think it's a nice transaction perhaps for the brewery who has to deal with the AGCO, has to deal with perhaps licensees, has to deal with us. We're annoying.
We're the worst.
Not annoying.
Especially like Katie and I are the worst.
We're terrible. We ask all these questions. It's awesome.
It's the best.
We're switching. Sorry,
I gotta catch
up.
up. Go.
Really
I'm
bad.
good. It's good.
I'm gonna grab something from the fridge after this too. Now that I know that you took an Uber, so you're in trouble. So we're drinking Ghost Orchid IPA, which I don't know why it's called Ghost Orchid IPA. There's no description on this bottle.
They come up with some really cool names.
I know, but I was hoping, like, I bought this bottle thinking, like, I think with Bellwoods, when you go there sometimes, you're like, I'll just take everything you have on your menu.
Well,
I don't know what any of this is.
When you go there from out of town,
I
that's
know.
pretty much the only way to approach it, isn't it?
But again, it's IPA, so I tend to go, I will like you.
Well, yeah. It's probably true, though.
Yeah.
It's probably their marketing strategy.
Probably. I think that's how
They're
do
waiting
it.
for you.
I know.
Yeah.
Anything catchy or like
We know you want
IPA
us.
in it or like Milk Shark. I'll take 10, please. And I will stand
Milky
in line.
and Sharky.
Yes, I'm there. Favorite. Yeah, totally. You can tell this is a Friday night podcast. This is totally not like the other podcasts we do, which are on Tuesday, which are like, or like during like a work day. We're like, okay, we have to be out of here by a certain time because Katie has to go beddies.
Yes.
Katie has to get very early in the morning, and then we end up being here like 11. Why haven't you left yet?
Because you keep opening
I
beers.
know, it's bad. Very bad. See, I don't know why this is like a special. It doesn't taste that special.
It tastes pretty great.
It does, but it doesn't taste like super specialty. Does it taste specially? Does it taste... If I say, Chuck, Taralyn, this is Ghost Orchid.
I don't know.
Does it taste Ghost Orchid to you?
Well, it tastes like an IPA to me.
But Ghost Orchid.
No, I don't...
What does Ghost Orchid taste to you?
It's got to be a little mysterious.
I was saying, right?
Or
Floral, right? Floral.
Floral would be another way to go.
But
I'm
Ghost
taking it
Orchid.
too literally.
Now, in all fairness, this was also of the same age.
Yes.
Vintage.
Vintage.
Vintage. That's what the word I was looking for. Thank you. The same vintage as the Blood Brothers, because it all came from our road trip.
That's true. That's true.
So maybe
for
some
sharing.
maybe the ghost disappeared.
You weren't saying it right. Ghost Orchid.
Well, the orchid part is still there. Still a very floral IPA. The ghost part might have disappeared.
Or was the ghost?
I broke Katie. Sorry. Canada Day, we said you've got 9 breweries coming in.
Yeah, Canada Day. We did invite our favorite.
Oh, your favorite.
Our favorites in town.
Okay.
Not all of them can make it.
Yeah, well, sometimes it's the
Dominion City happens to be doing their own festival that day. That's fine.
Yeah, I think I've heard something about that.
yeah, a small little festival.
Yeah. Cool. So 9 coming in. So are there new ones to the market this time? Have there some?
Yes. Crooked Mile. So they joined us in April. We had a bit of a launch party. They were out, but they haven't been to a full market. So
Okay.
that will be their first market. And everybody else is
Returnees.
veterans. Yeah.
Nice.
Long stays.
Very cool. So, one of the other ones that I wanted to sort of get back onto, because we've been jumping around topics a little bit on this podcast, and
I know. Sorry, that's my fault for Ghost Orchid.
No, it's yeah. There's a whole thing about Ghost Orchid. It may or may not make it. This year, you've also expanded your venues. You're not just in Hintonburg Park.
This is true.
Was there a reason for that? It was just to sort of spread it out, make it more accessible to the rest of the city, or were you just kind of trying to have some fun and be in different spots?
Yeah, both. We so last year we did 4 big events at Hintonburg Park. It rained on every day, and we did one event at on Albert Island at the Zippy because of a canceled event. So this year we wanted to take a new approach and kind of break it down, try some new venues. We had some feedback from some of the breweries that they like. Hintonburg's kind of a hip neighborhood that understands beer. Like, let's go to other neighborhoods.
Beer outreach?
Yeah, like a beer outreach program. We wanted to try some collaborations and see how that would go. So it was, we took this year as a bit of an experiment. Even Canada Day, like we've never done a holiday event. We might, after this year, never do it again.
What are the challenges with doing a holiday event?
Canada Day is just spoken for by everybody in the city.
Yes.
And so, again, not to bore with, like, logistics, but, like, like a tent rental. It's like
Oh,
everybody's
I see,
renting a
yeah.
tent.
Yeah, I can see. Yeah.
A porta potty. Everybody's renting a porta potty. So there are some logistical issues that make it challenging.
Just make it like a craft porta potty, you know, like have like some kind of like, like
The splash pad can probably double.
Yeah, that's probably.
No, sorry, never mind. Terrible idea. Terrible idea.
Ottawa craft plumbers.
This would save our event a lot of money. I like where this is going. Let's keep spitballing this.
I can't do Friday podcast.
I will stop scheduling them on Fridays. You guys wanted Fridays because it meant you guys could drink. This is not
I'm down.
how they work. These are
I
hilarious.
like this. This is really funny.
Broke Katie.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to break Katie.
I don't think it was you or the ghost orchid.
It was the Ghost Orchid.
Well, that was the catalyst.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, it's so funny.
Yeah.
So besides doing the brewery market, what else do you do? I'm sure you do other things in organizing brewery markets.
I do. It takes a hold of my life sometimes, but yeah. Well, I mean, and I think that's the thing to know with the brewery market too, is that it's not my full-time gig. It's nobody's full-time gig. It might show in its appearance that it's like, and then its approachability that it's.
This is what you do from this block to this block.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody who's involved in making it happen, down to the volunteers. The volunteer, like, you might recognize them because they're there at every single event.
Yes.
Um,
And it's always a very well organized event. Like from having attended and having poured, I have a unique perspective on that. I can definitely tell you on that it's always been really easy to attend and one of the easier ones to pour for.
That is lovely to hear. That is my payment. Thank you. Yeah, we all have full-time jobs.
Yeah.
I won't go into my full-time work.
Yeah, that's fine. But I guess it's important to know that you all are you volunteers who help organize this,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. We are all. It's a volunteer-based operation.
Yeah.
We are a not-for-profit, and then we donate our money to charity. Yeah, it's a terrible business model for myself. I make no money at this.
Well, yeah, but some great charities get to have a benefit from it, and all of the local beer nerds like us get to have a great event where we get to
Yeah.
socialize and drink some great beer.
Yeah, and that's it. The people who run it, the people who volunteer, we really love beer. We really love the community. We really want to support the brewers. It's all very honest. And I think the brewers notice that and appreciate it, and that's why they all like to participate. We really make it easy for them. Yeah, it's kind of it's win-win-win.
So, what would you say? So, you guys you've done Hintonburg Park for quite a bit. You're sort of branching out into venues a bit. You've got breweries coming to ask you to show up now. What's the one thing that you want to happen in the brewery market that hasn't happened yet?
It's a big question.
It is a big question. I don't know if there's something. There might not be, but I thought let's find out. What's your wish list?
My wish list? Wow. I can go into my wish list. So last year we did a survey. You guys may have filled it out because you're good friends. And in the survey it was like, where should we go? How should we grow? And yeah, it's kind of always focusing on growth. How can we be bigger and better? And one person in the comment section wrote something that I really appreciated, which was don't try to be Beer Fest at Lansdowne. Don't try to be Festivier. You guys have your thing. We love that thing. Don't change that thing. And as an organizer who is kind of trying to continually propel this into something bigger and better, it was just a nice reminder that it doesn't need to be overthought, and it is beer in a park, really good beer and really good people coming together in a park, and just trying to keep that honest and simple is really my goal. And yeah, this year we've tried to expand and collaborate and move around, and some of it has been successful and some of it has presented challenges. and some of it makes me want to go back to Hintonburg Park, where the good people are and the delicious beer flows, and things are all good. Maybe some more music. Maybe some more live music.
That would, I could see how that would be a pretty cool addition.
But that's fair. It's like, I feel like transitioning to something big, like the other big beer festivals in Ottawa, it would be so difficult, because you would potentially have to lose something that you are.
Yeah.
Perhaps. With transitioning to something big, with lots of people, a weird area where no one stands, like an empty space. It's just, yeah.
And there's absolutely nothing wrong with finding your groove and then fine-tuning it and playing with the borders rather than changing the core.
Yeah, and I think that's what we're continually trying to do, is fine-tune it with who we're bringing to the park and what beer we're serving, and like on a boring business end, like how do we not lose money? Like, how do we actually keep going? And that's kind of through sponsorships and blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
So.
That is challenging. Not to have an admission price is hard,
Yes.
I imagine.
Yeah, not to have an admission price and to keep it really as free as possible for the brewers, and accessible and easy for them. So those are important things to us. So how do we keep that going?
Well, I guess, so far so good.
So far so great.
6 years. So.
I know, it's crazy.
That's a long time.
Where does time go?
Yeah.
Guys.
And sure, even after a year that might have been a little bit more wet than you'd wanted, you guys are still going pretty strong this year. Yes.
Yeah, we had a great kickoff. We had the event in April. That was the VIP event,
Which was amazing.
Yes, we had a lot of fun.
We
with
talked
that
a
one.
lot about that.
It really inspired us to bring you on. Let's put
Yes.
that onto for
I
that.
know, that was my plan the whole time.
She wanted the ghost orchid.
Yeah.
I was like, what can take me to the Ghost Orchid? I know. A party. That was weird, sorry.
Yeah, that was weird. Nothing else.
Nothing else. The person who's editing is saying nothing else is weird. Oh, man. But, I think, to me, the Brewery Market is one of the things in Ottawa that I hope goes on for a long time, so a lot of people can experience it, and we can keep celebrating it, and just keep enjoying good people there. I don't know. It's a great time.
Yeah, I'm really intrigued by the idea of live music, and I think it would be kind of cool. Now I'm going to throw out ideas. I don't know, but I think it would be really cool to sort of further do the local feel and bring in like local bands and not try to get not try to get big names. Just get somebody who's some garage band.
Yeah, we don't have that kind of pull. It's all good.
But that's exactly like why reach for that when and try and then overextend rather than you can keep it all local and make it fun.
Totally.
And have fun.
Well, for the June event, we a couple weeks ago, this like jazz quartet reached out and were like, "Can we play for beer?" Absolutely, you can. And they came out and played for 2 hours.
Wow.
And like families ponied up with their drink on a hill. Like, it was so awesome. It was such a cool vibe. So yeah, we've been in touch with like the record center in the community. This is the nice thing with being in one spot too, is that we really know the neighborhood and we really know the businesses. So anyways, just to say that, yeah, more music. Not a bad thing.
That's pretty cool.
Especially when it's easy.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's just it. Yeah, like it's
Again, I think that's the thing. Like, keeping it simple goes miles.
You got it.
Yeah.
Also new this year, which we didn't talk about on this recording. We talked about it earlier, but we are offering the smaller size. Maybe we did talk about this.
we mentioned it, but we kind of mentioned
Let me
it.
really
passing.
go into it.
Yeah.
After much demand, we've finally caved, and you can now get a 5-ounce sample size.
What I do like about that is if I do want to try like a few more breweries than just like maybe one or two, I'm actually able to maybe get 5 or 6 different breweries or different beers in me without
I'm
getting
curious.
arrested.
Just for you. There it is.
I'm curious how many people actually, like, to me, like, I didn't mind the larger size when I went to the Brewery Market, because to me, like, the Brewery Market was more about, it wasn't about sampling. So, to me, it was more about hanging out, because it had that kind of vibe and just having beers with friends. And so, to me, when you take it down to that size, it's more about, like, how many can I pound in, like, the how many hours this is open and untap it as quickly as possible, and you're removing that social aspect.
It is a tough balancing act to play, because we
Yes.
actually talked about that as well earlier, where I liked that part of it, where you were sort of relaxed and you weren't trying to pound it all back, and it's a fine tuning, right? Again, talking about fine tuning, because the idea that you might have, especially the event where they had the casks, one of a few years ago, where it was the collabs between Ottawa and Toronto, and I wanted to be able to try them all.
Yeah.
That was one where that kind of thing makes a lot of sense. And so giving the options, like not forcing you to get the 5-ounce pour. You're not a festival. You're not forced to get the 5-ounce pour. You're a brewery market. You can go and grab your full pint. But if you are in fact looking to try a few, you still have that choice. So try a few small ones and then grab your big one and have the social aspect.
I guess it depends on what you're there for doing, I suppose. It offers many different people, many different varieties of things. I don't know.
That's exactly it. And I think that's a great way to look at it, is it does offer you the variety, it does offer you the choice of how you want to approach the experience.
There's something for everybody.
Yes.
Unless you're gluten intolerant. Or don't drink beer. Then
But
we have
that's why
nothing for you.
have to have a cider market.
Yeah, well, cider markets.
Well, we have one. We have Flying Canoe.
Yeah. Well, if we had a cider market, maybe we'd have more cider.
Maybe we would.
We're trying to get Flying Canoe out.
Oh, that'd be amazing.
If you're listening,
Flying Canoe.
Flying
let's do
Canoe.
this. We can do this.
Get on board.
This podcast is of like shout outs and hashtags.
So before we finish up, because we were just talking about the cups and how you show up and you have to buy the cup. If I went to one, have my cup still, came to another one, brought my cup. Is that cool?
If you bring your old cup?
Yeah.
Absolutely, that's the point.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
There
of
you go.
course.
Done.
Always.
See, that's that. I just want to make
Sweet.
sure.
We're happy.
Yeah,
because
we're very
we're
happy.
nerds. We have these cups. I have 10 of them.
That
of course,
there's
so.
nothing makes us happier than people when we bring their mason jars.
Oh,
It's
yeah,
it
that's
makes us
me.
the happiest.
That's me. I probably have my bag, like both of them. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's do this.
No, we love it.
The mason jar for early, the plastic cup for when it's
When
a little
things
later.
get a little bit, yes.
Yes.
A little slipperier.
Yeah, I can recognize when that happens. So I guess we'll take it out. Where can people find more information about the Brewery Market?
Sure. You can go to brewerymarket.com, or you can find us on Facebook or Twitter, or all of the above.
Okay.
We're also on Instagram. We're all over the place. We're not hard to find.
Everywhere.
Perfect.
They're everywhere.
And if you join the conversation at 613BeerCast After Dark on Facebook, you'll potentially get the early hints at
That's
some
true.
of the stuff that comes out of the brewery market.
And we've actually been very privileged on that group. A lot of people post things on there early for some reason. We appreciate that. Thank you.
Yes.
And we get a lot of interesting discussions. So really like that a lot.
It's great discussions. It's the
Yeah.
people who really care
I
about
know.
what's going on
Yeah,
in
and
the
there-
city and the beer
Sometimes
scene.
there are arguments. I love that. I
Yes.
sit there at work with my invisible popcorn and I eat it.
Well, and kudos to you for you start honest conversations and you give honest opinions. And I think that brings out the comfort in people to
I think so,
have those
yeah.
conversations.
Thanks.
So you can also follow us on Twitter and Instagram at 613BeerCast. And
Talk to you next week.